Hey gang, welcome to this week's edition of The Forum. I'm Mark Willard, host of ESPN LA Now on ESPN LA 710, and here is ESPN LA columnist extraordinaire, Arash Markazi. This week's topic, I want to get into something that is kind of bouncing back and forth between Lakers and Clippers fans here in Los Angeles, and that is this. If you had to pick out one thing to describe the biggest difference between this year's Clippers with a great record and this year's Lakers with a disappointing record, what would it be? How would you describe that?
Wow. Mark, there's a lot of them. But let me count the ways. Jamal Crawford and Eric Bledsoe and Lamar Odom and Ronny Turiaf and Matt Barnes. A tribe called bench. That second unit is the best in the league. They take a 2-point lead and make it a 12-point lead. I've never seen anything like it. Compare that to the Lakers. Who do they come off the bench with? It's no one. It's maybe 2 guys or 3 guys.
Pau Gasol when Mike D'Antoni puts him there. Jody Meeks has been okay, but I hear you. It's the bench. I want to throw one more thing in there, and in fact, we talked a lot about this word last time you and I were on the radio together, and that is this. Chemistry.
100%.
It is all about the chemistry. You look at the Clippers this year, they remind me of that UNLV team. You remember back in the days of Grandmama and LJ and Stacey Augmon and Anderson Hunt and all those guys, after each free throw, made or missed, they would all gather together in the key and hug. I mean, you just see everyone pushing in the same direction with this team. On the other side of the coin, there's the Lakers with funny facial expressions going on the bench, frustration already coming out. Antoine Jameson has already barked at Mike D'Antoni. Pau Gasol and Mike D'Antoni have already butted heads a little bit about how it's all supposed to go down. To me, and that's the hardest thing to find in team sports, is find that chemistry. But I think that's a big thing that the Lakers are searching for, and the Clippers just kind of organically have it. So here's to further the conversation, though. Whatever it is you choose, bench, chemistry, add it all in together. Who's to blame, or who gets the credit for what's going well?
It's hard to say, you know, because if you're going to put a collection of talent together like Dwight Howard and Steve Nash, there's something to be lost there. You can't have 4 or 5 Hall of Fame guys and have a great second unit. So perhaps the GM, but listen, the GMs here did the best job that they possibly could, I think.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that. If I'm going to think about the Lakers and where I would potentially put some sort of blame, there's a lot of it to go around, by the way. You could pick a lot of people, but I would start with Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah.
I would start with Mike D'Antoni solely because I think that he didn't step forward to cultivate that idea of chemistry when he first arrived. The first thing that he was trying to do is more concerned with kind of shoving his system down everybody's throat, and then maybe embarrassing Pau Gasol a little bit and putting him in his place, but also kind of trying to navigate Dwight Howard and Kobe Bryant and those relationships, which are difficult. That's where I would start. What about on the Clippers side? Who gets the credit for what's going well?
Credit, Chris Paul. I mean, we've talked about it 100 times. He's not only a great player, he changed the culture of that team. He's made it a family. He wants these guys to bring their kids into the locker room. They go out to movies, and it's cliche. But if you trust the guy off the court, you want to play for him on the court. And Chris Paul has changed that culture 100%.
Yeah, I totally agree. Chris Paul gets the credit as far as I'm concerned when it comes to the chemistry issue as well. He's the perfect guy for what they all had coming together. It's not even just who he is, because he is just a little nasty floor general, and he's got a little attitude and all that stuff that's great. But it's also the position he plays.
Yeah.
He's a point guard. He had experience. You know, with this collection of guys, with Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan being the young guys that they're trying to get them better, the perfect thing to add was an experienced point guard who could deliver them the ball in the right place and turn them into Lob City stars. I mean,
there's no one else who could have done what he did. I mean, I know a lot of people are upset that he's not with the other team in Los Angeles.
Yep, he should be.
But he's the only guy who could have changed the culture of that team. Chris Paul wants this team to be great. And how does he make them great? He wears the Clippers hat when he goes out, the T-shirt. He's made it a cool team. I mean, players want to play here. Can you imagine that?
No question. In fact,
Grant Hill, Chauncey Billups, they chose to come here.
He made it cool, which is an incredible feat.
Yeah.
And he's made people at least temporarily forget about Vinny Del Negro.
Amazingly, right?
I mean, he's just kind of a, whatever coach going into the season, and everyone loves him because they're winning all their games because because Chris Paul is kind of their coach. All right, that's it for this week's edition of The Forum. For Arash Markazi, I'm Mark Willard. Remember, keep it locked right here for all of your Laker needs throughout the year.